रुकन कांग्रेस एडी जॉनसन कहती हैं कि अमेरिका और पाकिस्तान की बातचीत की असल जरूरत है। उन्होंने ये बात नुमाइंदा जियो न्यूज राजा जाहिद खानजादा के साथ गुफ्तगू में कही।
Well, there are many people, members of the Congress, who are very interested in improving the relationships in Pakistan. As a matter of fact, I made an effort myself to see if we couldn't start a bilateral between our legislators to develop a better understanding, closer relationships. That has not come to fruition yet. Well, there are many people, members of the Congress, who are very interested in improving the relationships in Pakistan. As a matter of fact, I made an effort myself to see if we couldn't start a bilateral between our legislators to develop a better understanding, closer relationships. That has not come to fruition yet, but the more active the Pakistani caucus becomes more active, I think we might eventually be able to get that. I think generally speaking, most of the people really want a more positive relationship and realize the talent and realize that there are many Pakistanis in America that are really leaders and a part of this culture that came from Pakistan. So there is a real reason for us to come together and work more closely together. I think we'll get there, but we are pretty tied up right now with some minutia that we're trying to get through. These are changing times, but I'm not discouraged. I have spoken just recently with our whip in the House that had been the majority leader about establishing this bilateral discussion so that we can make a better impact within the Congress through knowledge. When we look at the makeup of the Congress, we have probably the least experienced Congress than we've had in many, many years. Many of the members are leaving who were there for many years because of the change in culture within the Congress. And we keep saying, don't leave, let's try to maintain what we have. But you know, since the election of 2010, we have had very disruptive, negative personalities that have been elected. We're hoping every election that we begin to try to eliminate some of that. And I think that that's going to be step number one, because many of the people who've come in since that time don't even like to travel around the world to even see what the rest of the world is like. And unless you sometimes can go and see what cultures are like, what the positiveness is, that people can bring to a culture, then you never know it. So we're hoping that we can improve that dialogue so that we can improve the relationships.
Trump is head of the administration, and Pakistani officials, they are saying that always the American people saying do more because we give the aid. So what do you say about that? You know, because Pakistan is the country who is also affected for the terrorism, and a lot of people die over there too. So you know, the people of Pakistan, they always looking forward to have a good friendship with America, but the American government and you know, your administration don't have a good policies. That's where people against of America in Pakistan. So what do you say about that?
Well, I think since we've had this last national election, we've had a tremendous change in attitude. First of all, when a president is elected, they then appoint an entire cabinet. And within that cabinet, you have the various secretaries for all of the departments, from the Defense, Secretary of State, all of them. And they usually appoint people that reflect their attitudes. What I have observed is that the attitudes of this president and his cabinet are almost anti-world. And he's always talking about making America great again and America first, and which ignores the historic efforts of this country to be open to be of help and to be really American to the rest of the world, and to try to work to bring about peace in the rest of the world. If you notice, out of all the wars we participate in, none of them have been in the United States, which means that we're participating to try to bring peace to the rest of the world. I'm not sure that I even understand the attitude of our current administration. I'm hoping that it'll be short-lived, and then we can probably get back on track in the usual American way. I'm hoping that we don't do too much destruction as a nation with other countries before we reverse it. Because right now, we in the Congress, many of us in the Congress, are as concerned as people outside the Congress on the damage we're doing to relationships around the world.
You are the member of the Pakistani caucus, and what is the Pakistani caucus in Congress, what they are doing to build the relationship between America and Pakistan?
Well, we're trying to expand numbers so they can understand. First, we are studying and being in touch with some of the leadership in the legislative branches within Pakistan and trying very hard to understand each other so that we can spread the news to others and increase those numbers so that when there's legislation or policy that comes up to be discussed and voted on, then we'll be able to influence those members from a knowledge base of having studied our differences and our likenesses of the two countries.